our next question is another popular topic that we've been hearing about in the news and on social media, rapid tests. Should schools be using rapid tests, and how could they be used most effectively? Let's go to Alex for this one.
So there's sort of the answer, and then there's practicality and access to rapid tests, and I'm not completely certain as to what all the details are, but I guess the short answer is that if rapid tests are available and accessible for parents and families, then I think it is a useful tool. So the rapid testing, just for those in the audience, briefly is just, it screens for something called an antigen, a viral antigen. And it's, it's almost, you put the swab in your nose, and then you kind of put it into a little test tube with a little bit of material in it, and then you drop it into this little doodad, and then it kind of goes across, and then you see sort of 2 bars, kind of like a pregnancy test, and 1 bar is good and 2 bars is bad. And usually you can get a result. I mean, they say 15 minutes, but basically within like a couple of minutes, you can pretty much see what the result looks like. It's not appropriate to use a rapid test for anything essentially other than for screening if you don't have symptoms. And the reason why is because if you do have symptoms, then doing that PCR test, which is kind of what we do in the labs, like in the lab in Saskatoon and the provincial lab down in Regina, is a much more sensitive test. You don't miss positive results as much with when you have symptoms, and that's really, really important compared to this antigen test. But it can be useful, for example, if you have COVID, for example, and you're still sort of asymptomatic, but you're kind of ramping up your viral load, but you don't know it yet. And if you end up finding out that you have a positive test, then that is actually a very specific result that would suggest strongly that you do have COVID, and that could keep you from, kind of going, to class and getting into trouble and so on and so forth. So the short answer is that's kind of the role of screening with antigen testing in routine day-to-day life. The challenge, as I understand it, is that there's just some challenges with policy and protocol, which don't necessarily allow parents to necessarily take full responsibility of these tests and how these tests are reported and so forth. So I don't know all the details, but as far as I'm aware, it's not something that's easily accessible or available at this time for parents and students. So if it changes, and if the policy changes, and I believe honestly that this is related to something with regards to SHA policy, then it would be a very useful tool to add to the armamentarium. But as it currently stands right now, I'm not actually sure that it's widely available at this time.
Anybody else have anything to add?
I think we need to do more rapid testing, and I think it is part of a complement of testing, tracing, and self-isolation that we have to continually practice into this fall, particularly when the Delta variant is driving, this wave, the current wave we are seeing. It's interesting. In the past week, I've had 2 or 3 different people asking questions about where do I get a rapid test? My child is in childcare, and we as parents want to actually have a rapid test with us. We want to have several of these among us, and we want to use it. And they have done their homework trying to actually access this rapid test and have not been able to do so. So I think this kind of goes back to what Alex was saying. The practicalities of actually getting rapid test has to be improved. I mean, plain and short, because many of the other parts of the world, particularly the developed world, I know in Denmark, for example, and in several other countries, rapid test has been one of the main ways that people have been doing tests on themselves as a screening step, not as a diagnosis step, but as a screening step. And I think we somehow have fallen behind in doing so. So we need to do that more.
Go ahead, Alex.
Just really quickly, I'll just say that again, I mean, if you as parents and families are, interested in accessing rapid testing, which I think you should be, then I think it would be a good thing for you to speak with your local school boards and school divisions and leaders within your own school boards and school divisions to ask about sort of what the status of rapid testing is and how, access and the practicality of getting access to testing can be improved.
That is a great point. Okay, so for everybody listening, to reiterate that if you do have concerns about rapid tests, talk to your school divisions. Ask them where they're at with rapid tests for your kids at school.
If you want access, if you want access to it, just ask, like, where can we get access to rapid testing, right? That's a good place to start. Thanks.
Okay.